Do you have a favorite Ted hug?
Meaning like saying?
I'm literally thinking physical hug, because to me, it's Rebecca confessing to Ted,
right,
first season series,
yeah,
and you, as Ted, immediately forgiving her.
You know, I think that if you care about someone and you got a little love in your heart, there ain't nothing you can't get through together.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fantastic hug. And
Sure.
then there's Roy with Jamie, with Jamie's dad. Incredible hug.
Yeah.
What could match those, would you say?
Golly. I mean, one that was in the initial pitch was the one that Ted gives Rebecca when she's outside the gala, when we first meet her ex-husband, Rupert, and you're sort of like, well, why is this lady so angry, you know? And we just always knew we wanted to, you know, give context to that, because so often, you know, the female, like the femme fatale, is just, you know, wants to kill the husband. We don't know why. And while she didn't want to kill this guy, she definitely wanted to make his, you know, embarrass him, make his life hard, and rip, you know, destroy his football club. But then when you see why, that was a big one. But yeah, I mean, that moment, getting to observe that moment, even though I was in there as the character, but when Roy marches across, you know, the dressing room at Wembley to hug Jamie is powerful. And then we got a few this year too,
for sure.
But yeah, but it's also I also have a hankering for, and I do love anytime little Juno Temple has to, you know, clown Mount Hannah to, like, you know, hug for Keely and Rebecca to hug. That's always pretty darn adorable too.
Absolutely. Are there particular lines that you get shouted at you, quoted at you in the street? I'm hoping Ted's nickname.
Not too much
Not
anymore,
too much.
Actually,
No.
yeah, wanker I don't hear at all, actually.
Keep that up, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we appreciate it.
No knockadoodle doos.
Knock-a-doodle do.
No knockadoodle doos. I mean, a few be a goldfish. You know, be curious, not judgmental. You know, but yeah, for the most part, it's getting the wish fulfillment of people calling me coach, which is pretty great.
Oh.
Hey, coach. You know.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, fellas, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach. Sorry, Coach.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, having friends that are actual coaches and always feeling like, that's great. I have friends that are coaches, friends that are doctors, you know, so they don't, you know, hey, actor, they don't do that. You know, so, you know, now I got one.
We've talked before about the surreal moments of success the show's had that you can see in the likes of FIFA.
EA Sports. I'm in the game. Oh, did I sound like the guy?
And the Nike tie-in and all sorts of stuff. You know.
Nando's, come on.
Right, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Tell me that President Biden called you coach.
He did. He did indeed.
We got you guys a little something.
Right.
Yeah, but there's something inside. Now you got one to go.
And as the owner of the football club, I do expect you to wear them. Okay.
Yeah, and I'd met him before. I used to portray him. I did an impression of him on Saturday Night Live for when he was vice president.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of you out there are asking, Joe, how are you going to pay for a $1.2 trillion plan by cutting taxes? Finally.
And I'd met him, but yeah, this last time through, yeah, he'd call me coach and gave me a fair amount of guff for my portrayal of him too, even though it was out of love, but it was the very boisterous, loquacious version of him, which is not too dissimilar actually from Ted in a lot of ways, just with a different accent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah, I don't have very many moves. He just,
yeah.
You know, you
Okay.
just switch. You put a mustache on, you know, a bald cap. You just switch it up, and it's all the same.
Yeah, it's all just smoke and
same
mirrors.
shtick over and over.
What was it like shaving off the moustache for the last time for this third series? Must be pretty emotional when you have to do that.
I usually just let it grow in. I mean, I think I did shave down. I forget what for, but I end up futzing with it so much. I don't know. People, I've watched the cast do impressions of me of like when I'm thinking and stuff, and I have a tendency to like, you know, mess with it when one hair grows a little bit longer and constantly. So it feels kind of nice to get rid of it. It's not too emotional. I think if I would have been a little bit more high on my own supply, I would have put it all in a Ziploc bag. And, you know, just
Shave it off clean.
Send it
And then
to the
frame it.
Smithsonian or whatever, wherever, or frame it, whichever.
Mr. Biden, we've got a package for you.
Exactly.
And it's very suspicious.
Yes, absolutely. Not quite anthrax, might be worse. It's Jason Sudeikis' facial hair.
Do you have a favourite bad dad joke? Like a sort of a Tedism where it's just like achingly Teddy?
Golly.
I think the chess one, the accidental liked each other's moves, is pure.
Which one?
Oh, look, there's a beard over there. That's his new gal, Jane. Yeah, they met at his Friday night chess club. Apparently they liked each other's moves. Oh, that wasn't a joke. Was it not? Oh, I guess it kind of was.
It's the accidental dad jokes.
Yes. I'm a big fan of those too. Yeah, when you just bump into, oh yeah, I guess that doesn't sound like a joke. Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's a joke that I've known for a long time, but yeah, what do you get when you cross an elephant and a rhinoceros? Elefino is just a classic joke, and just shy of bawdy, for to tell a child, they don't know about heaven and hell in the way that we do as adults. We've lived both now.
Yeah. Way too much of one, not enough of the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that one sticks out, but yeah, my kids are getting into puns now, which is yeah. Otis is pretty darn good at them too. He has long hair, and he went to he went to this car rental place with my sister, and she came back to report that the guy behind the counter was like, "Hey, I like your hair. You look like a rock star." And he goes, "Don't you mean a lock star?" I was like, when it got reported back to me, I felt very proud.
Wow.
Very proud.
Wow. Take a bow. You're getting free ice cream for the rest of the day.
Absolutely.
Good job.
Yep.
Are there any particularly uber famous people who happen to have been chatting you, some sort of Golden Globes event, I don't know, and you go, hang on, is Brad Pitt telling me how much he loves Ted Lasso? Like, who's up there that's confessed their love for the show to you?
Yeah, I mean, Brad Pitt was one. I mean, which was he's a Midwestern guy. He's from Missouri, and we don't hold that against him in Kansas. He's transcended. I feel that unfortunate circumstance, but yeah, he was one early on. I mean, I remember I got a really nice letter from Frank Oz, so that's...
The Frank Oz?
The Frank Oz, which is heavy.
Of course he writes a letter.
Of course. Oh, yeah, typed up, signed, but him and his wife had really enjoyed season 1. I mean, even just hearing this past week, hearing Jamie Dimon from J.P. Morgan, talk about, how much he loves the show and his team loves the show, and that they have a Believe poster hanging up in his office at J.P. Morgan. It's like for all the stuff that people in banking need to believe in right now. It's glad that we're helping them out.
I'm glad that sign's getting places.
Yeah.
Are there other examples in your mind of where you've seen Ted in the world, in the real world? I believe tattoos must be all over the shop now.
They're all over the place, yeah. And when we see just random Believe signs, I mean, truthfully, as lovely it is to hear, peers, especially people that you look up to, like Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson or Brad Pitt or whatnot. It's also all the just average, Jane and Joes in the world that I mean, that sign is hanging up in people's hospital rooms and classrooms. It's. And they hang him up cockeyed, which was just a silly joke that I had for the way Keely would screw with Ted.
Lower it down on that side.
Oh, great.
Keep going, a little bit. Teeny bit more. Stop!
This is the human error that Ted has we've all tried to hang up a poster by ourselves, and sometimes you need someone there to help you out. We all need help. And the fact that Keely was willing to screw around with them, have it go the other way. I love seeing people hanging them up that way. And yeah, it's nuts. It's a really, really lovely thing. And between the sign being in places and seeing families dress up like all the characters to go trick or treating at Halloween, which is a bigger deal over in the States, obviously, but is really neat. It's very moving.
I'm going to do something very un-British, and that might get me in trouble, but I'm going to wrap things up like this.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you from all the fans. It's been emotional. And also, could I ask for a hug?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, but you're going to get one, too.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that's the American thing, yeah.
I'll actually deliver on the hug.
Yeah, very key. Thank you. Thanks for giving a damn about the show.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to keep up to date. You can listen to my Radio 1 movies and TV podcast, Screen Time, on BBC Sounds. And you can find these interviews in full on BBC iPlayer by searching Movies with Ali Plumb.